I'm just gonna make sure I put on the chat. Okay. I wrote everything down so I don't be all over the place. So I wrote my key topics down. Okay, so if you see me looking down, I'm just reading my paper. But if you see me looking over here, I am looking at my computer. So I want to start. Well, the video is how to benefit from astrology, right? But I want to start with the current transits. Why do I start with the current transits? You want to start with the current transits? Well, this is where they get the horoscopes from. So when you guys are looking at your horoscope and you're trying to figure out stuff, this is where they're getting it from, okay? They look at the current transits. So I just want to let you guys know what they are. And then what do you do with them? You look at the degree in your birth chart and then you see what matches so you can see how it's going to affect you the most, okay? So, all right, so the sun is in Taurus, as we know, and the moon is in Capricorn. Now check out this energy, like all this earth energy, earth and water energy is like really muddy outside, right? Mercury is in Taurus, Venus in Pisces, Mars in Pisces, Jupiter in Pisces. So that's 3 so far, right? And then we have Saturn in Aquarius. That's that air trying to get in and help make logic out of this stuff. It got all this earth energy and water energy. And Uranus is in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces. Been in there for a while. And Pluto is in Capricorn. All right. We trying to like not get so close, but I had to like read stuff close. Okay, so like I said, I wrote down these questions. And I want to be able to remember everything. So how to benefit from astrology. So here are the most like kind of common questions that I'm asked all the time, either in a reading, like a birth chart reading, or in some other area, emails, just regular conversations. So I picked out like kind of the top, I don't know, 6, 7 of them. All right. So one of the biggest questions that I get all the time is, what does it mean? Like, what does it mean in my birth chart? So if like, I'm going to give you a couple of mine and then you guys can get an example. So look, as far as the video, the people that's on the chat, thank you. Hey, for coming. Hi. But y'all got to like the video, I think. I think it's like how long you guys stay on there and the likes. Anyway. So I have like, so when looking at my birth chart, especially when I first looked at it, I have a moon square Mercury. So what does that mean? And I have a sun sextile the moon. What does that mean? So I try not to speak that way because you really got to understand astrological language in order to understand this stuff. So if you know what the planets represents, and the sun and the moon in astrology are considered planets or luminaries. But you have to understand that energy so you can know what it means. That's the best way to do it. But if I have my moon and my Mercury and they square each other, squares are lessons, squares are tensions, right? What tension? Do we want to actually deal with a square? No, we don't. But should we? Yeah, we should, because it's going to help us. So my emotional state of mind, the way how I feel about things, and communication is a square, is tense. So usually what that means is that I will get in my feelings very quickly. So I will have that sensitivity, but I won't come off sensitive. I will come off defensive, because I think like, what you trying to say, type of thing. But I have changed that, and you can do that too. You can change. You can look at your squares and your oppositions in your chart, and then you can change them to a better aspect. So I was working on moon sextile Mercury, but sextile is opportunity, is better energy, is more positive. Although I wasn't born with that in my astrological birth chart, I could work on that. All right. So another question that I am asked a lot is, should we use astrology every day? Well, just think about regular life. You don't want to use anything every day because eventually you'll get used to it, and it'll lessen the meaning, or the meaning will not be as strong, right? So should we use astrology every day? My answer is no. Mainly because if you use astrology every day and there's some kind of aspect like a square or a conjunction or an opposition, then you would need more time to actually work that out, right? So if I have a square in my chart, my daily horoscope or whatever you want to call it, if I have a square there and I say, okay, the sun's squaring whatever, I'm supposed to do something with that, right? So if I don't, the next day, the planets move all the time. So it's going to hit your chart at different times, like every day on a daily basis. So if I don't work on my today with the square or the opposition or the conjunction, then how would that work? Because if you're doing this every day, just to look and see, not, you shouldn't use astrology that way. Another question is, will astrology apps teach me about astrology? Well, yes and no. I think that you have to first have, like, I guess a basic astrology 101. Like, you got to have that before you can start using these apps, because the big answer is no, astrology won't teach you, I mean, astrology apps won't teach you astrology. You have to have some kind of idea on them. I use astrology apps for the calculation purposes. So for the math, because it's already built in. So I use it for that reason. Another question is astrology pseudo science? Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's pseudoscience, if it's pseudoscience, if it's ludoscience. I don't know. All I know that the energies that happen on a daily basis, it works. It works whatever way. If you want to use planets to explain, zodiac signs to explain, I think that it works. Is it an exact science? No. Is science an exact science? No. So anyway, I think that we should utilize it in a way that we can help ourselves, because these transits always going to happen all the time, right? So we got to help ourselves. We can use it to help ourselves. And another question is, what I don't feel. Okay. Look, I'm reading from my paper and I can't even see the paper. I can't even understand my handwriting. Okay. Oh, what if I don't feel the astrological trigger? So say if, for example, I think, what's today, the 21st, Thursday, 22nd, Friday, Sunday, I am going to experience the sun and Taurus opposing my sun in Scorpio. So the sun is opposing my sun. Now that's supposed to be like this big scary thing, but it's not. How do I handle it? Well, first of all, I know that it was 6 months previous, right? So, you know, your sign is opposite from all the other signs, right? So mine is Taurus. So Taurus is opposing Scorpio. So all the Scorpios out there, the best way to handle this transit is to actually look at the last 6 months. So the last 6 months was your birthday. So this is like halfway, a midpoint in between your birthday from your last birthday until your next birthday. Is half of it. It's like 180 degrees. I don't know if I can say it better that way. And so at this time, you're supposed to look at what goals and objectives have you met so far? Like how are your plans going? Is it going the way you want them to go? Is it something that you can improve on? Like, what you're looking at a cumulative of 6 months from your birthday until now. That's when your sun is opposed to sun. It only happens one time a year, and that's your opposite sign. So next month, it's because the sun's gonna be in Gemini, right? So the Sagittarius is not gonna have that great of a time. So it's like the shadow period. I hate saying that word shadow, man. I'm trying to figure out what other word I can use other than shadow. But the shadow period, like the sun is in Taurus, so the sun is shining on Tauruses. but it's the shadow, it's the other side of Scorpio. So that it's like, it's a time to meditate, and it's almost like a new moon for you, But anyway. Okay, now the next question is, oh, and I think this is the last one. Yep. Okay. Should I use astrology to get to know my child? Now, I say it's a couple of things about this. So when you first have a baby, like the baby, like say today you had a baby, or somebody had a baby. A baby was born today. Let me say it like that. A baby was born today. So of course it's going to be a Taurus. So if you look at the current chart, like a current transit or astrology chart, that's the birth chart of the baby who was born today at this second right now. Okay? If I'm going to do it right now. So if you want to know what your baby's birth chart is going to look like, it's going to be Taurus. Now, you might have some of them that say that it's a Cusper. It's like a Aries Taurus. Nah, it's like getting too far into the degree of Taurus. Like when Taurus first came in, yeah, if a baby was born at that time, it would be a Cusper. What is a Cusper? A Cusper is somebody who is born when the sign is leaving the sign and going into the next sign. Sorry, when the sun is leaving the sign and going into the next sign, but it's right at that last degree, first degree mark, or 0 degree mark. So what does it mean when you are a Cusper? It means that everything that you come into the world to know as whatever cusp sign you came from. So, okay, so say it was Aries. I want to make it clear. Say it was Aries. You were born as a cusper of Aries and Taurus. That means that you have fulfilled that particular destiny. Like, you know all about being an Aries. You know all the characteristics and traits of an Aries. But what you need to learn more in this life for the Taurus or your cusp sign that's coming in, you need to understand the energy of that. So you will have both. So usually the people who's Aries and Taurus, they're entrepreneurs, but kind of on steroids. That's just one interpretation. Okay, and then I just want to talk briefly about the Sun and Taurus, and then questions and answers. So hopefully we won't be on here too long. Okay, so by the Sun being in Taurus, collectively, what is that doing for us? And all these other doggone, the water and the other grounding signs like Capricorn and Pisces. I'm sorry, Capricorn and Taurus, and then you got Pisces. So it's really showing us about grounding, not so much of, oh, I want to go out in nature and smell the flower. I mean, yeah, we might want to do that, but that's not like our strongest energy. Our strongest energy right now is thinking about ourselves in a way of how can we improve our current condition. It's simple as, I got this TV that's like 1970, but it still works. Maybe I need to upgrade a TV. Maybe I need to buy another TV. So it's like, it could be as simple as that, or it could be something internal where you actually sit and you meditate and you think about what's going on in your life. How can I make more money? How can I improve my self-confidence and my self-esteem and my self-image and stuff like that? Now, we would think about that kind of for a little while, because Taurus is a fixed sign, right? And it means that it's stable, dependable, is there. And Taurus is the slowest sign of the zodiac. Y'all so slow, Taurus. But they're not just slow just to be slow. First of all, Tauruses have to luxuriate. They have to buy pretty things and invest in things that's going to last for a long time. They need time to think about their purchases. It's like no rush. If a Taurus ever tell you, if you're a person that do everything fast, the Taurus tell you don't rush, just like check back every like 2 months with the Taurus to see if they're ready. But anyway, okay. So yeah, we're going to be thinking about those kind of things as a collective. That's how Taurus is going to, we're going to experience Taurus. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper as far as the educational piece of it, I saw a dog, right? And then I'm like, a dog? Somebody asked about a pet in astrology? Yeah, so then you go look at the aspects. So of course, if it's a conjunction, it's like Taurus, the sun conjunct your sun is your birthday, so happy birthday, Tauruses. So all the Tauruses that's happening now is a conjunction. Then you're going to go to Scorpio because it's an opposition. So 180 degrees from you, right? So we already briefly talked about the Scorpio. But Scorpio, don't be getting all stressed out and worried, man. Just understand that it's the way that you're forced. Like, we take stock in our lives when we're motivated and we want to, like us all, any zodiac sign. But when it's your opposing sign that's the sun is in, like Taurus and Scorpio, the one that is not currently shining right now, Scorpios, it's just time for us to really think and take our time to think. Again, that's a fixed sign, the Tauruses. So how can we use it with tropical astrology? Well, we know our astrological new year was on, well, what was it? May 21st. Sorry, what am I saying? May. Wow. See, my mind is so. It was March, right? That's when spring came in. So anytime spring comes in, that's an astrological new year because Aries is at 0 degrees. Or if you look on the chart, you'll see that Aries is at in the beginning, and we all have a new start. It's going to affect us all by having a new start, a new perspective. Want to start something new, and we could do it aggressively with the energy of Aries. Would we do it like an Aries? No, because if we're not an Aries, you're not an Aries. So the next sign is Taurus, and it's in the middle of spring. And then the next sign after Taurus is going to be Gemini, which is touching spring and it's touching summer. So we're leaving spring and we're going into summer, which would be like June 21st, around that time, and that's Cancer, right? But let's get back to Taurus and the fixed sign. So right now, all the fixed signs that we have, which is Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, we are the ones that kind of hold things down. And we're not on shaky ground. We're on solid ground, right? All the fixed signs. So we just holding things down. So right now, the sun and Taurus, it was spring, still is spring. We're just in the middle of spring. And we're not really doing anything with it. We're just in the middle of spring. And we just holding spring down. There's nothing really happening with the season, right? Until Gemini comes in. When Gemini comes in, it's going to be different kind of weather, right? It's going to be different type of energy. And again, Gemini is mutable, so it takes out something and starts something else, okay? So if you look at your own sign, you can find out how the Taurus season will affect you directly. And it's just the sun. We're not looking at all the other signs. All the other planets. We're just looking at the sun, right? So the Taurus sun to your sun. So of course, if you are a Capricorn or a Virgo, the sun is trining your sun. The sun trines our sun twice a year. The sun opposes our sun once a year, right? All right, so a trine in astrology is like a smooth sailing, not really anything happening. Your boss, your parents, anybody in authority towards you is kind of on your side, so you don't really feel it. Things will just go more smoothly. When the sun sextile your sun, that is when you'll really feel it more. You'll get the support from people who, and that's twice a year too. You get the support from people who you really need it from, like a boss. You can get promoted. If you go to court, the judge could be on your side. If you get stopped by the police, he might just be like, or she might give you a warning, right? So that's when the sun is sextiling your sun, all right? So the sextiling, what sextile? A Taurus. A sextile is 60 degrees. So you go 2 signs from a Taurus this way, 2 signs from a Taurus the other way. So what's 2 signs from a Taurus? Pisces, that way. What's 2 signs after a Taurus? Cancer, that way. So if you look at it like okay, I'm not going to even say it that way. That's getting confusing. I'm sorry. I stopped myself because I'm about to go so deep into these doggone things. So I'm just going to keep it simple. Okay, so that means that the sun is sextiling your sun. If you are a Cancer or a Pisces, please utilize this energy, especially Pisces, because Pisces, your season, your yearly cycle is about to go out. So keep riding on this. Like Pisces, you really should take advantage of this, especially in your professional arena. Okay, so then we did the opposition, we did the conjunction. Happy birthday, Taurus, for the conjunction. We did the, oh, square. Okay, so squares happen, everything happens twice a year except the opposition, okay, with the sun and your sign. So then we have the square. So a square is 90 degrees, so you have to do 3 signs that way, 3 signs that way. All right, so that's count 3. All right. Aquarius, if you do 3 signs back from Taurus, and then Leo, if you do 3 signs ahead. So if you are a Leo or an Aquarius, yeah, this is just a little bit of struggle, but you'll be all right. But this is also the time that you can look at the lessons and the energy of the season. Okay. So that, did I leave out any sign that has effect with Taurus? Well, I know I left out the semi-sextile, which is Aries and Gemini, Sagittarius. I think that's it. Anyway, if I left out yours and you have questions about yours, of course you could always ask below in the comment section. And let me just make sure that I can see the chat. Okay, hey Shona. So at this part of the video is basically me talking to you guys and reading your comments and seeing if you have any questions or whatever, and then I'm going to go. Yo, I would really want to do a story time, let y'all know what's been happening this year, man. But I have to say it in such a secretive, covert kind of way. And because I'm still feeling emotions from it, I can't exactly say it. I can't figure out how to say this in a covert, undercover kind of way. But anyway, yeah, so this part of the video is just general questions and answers. I just wanted to or for me reading the chat. So if you don't like that kind of thing, then yeah, this part not for you. But I just wanted to read these things out to you guys because I said, let me just do a video with these questions. Okay. Oh yeah, so I want to do this thing so y'all can know what was been happening this last year. Like, what happened to Shonda? Where's Shonda? Shonda always been here. I just didn't click live because I didn't want to rant, like, okay. Anyway, so also another thing you guys could do, my true astrology heads or my true astrology students, you can look at this. You can look at the Sun and Taurus, and you can see exactly, or not exact. I shouldn't say exactly because you got to keep doing a lot of stuff to get an exact or more exact. But you can get a good idea where you're going to be showing your creativity, what kind of money you're going to make based off your creativity. So if you're anything that you can create, it's also about babies too. Okay. And the nurturing and the care of babies. All right. So it's all that. So what you do is you take the degree of the zodiac sign in Taurus. Sun is in Taurus. So wait, hold on. Let me refresh this page and make sure that I have, because the moon moves pretty fast. All right. So right now, and so does the sun, but it's every day. Moon every few minutes. All right. So it's in 1 degree 32. So look in your birth chart for any sign. I'm sorry, look at your birth chart for any house that has Taurus in it. So that's the first thing. So a lot of you students don't memorize or did not memorize certain things you're supposed to. Oh my God, I'm so trying not to curse y'all out right now. So it's certain zodiac signs that all of your zodiac signs in your chart has a number next to it, and it's a degree. You need to know your degree. It's only 10, yo. It's like 10 that you got to memorize. You need to know each degree. If you don't, go ahead, look in the app, look at your birth chart, How long are you going to keep doing that? Like, all right, that's just for my students. So it's 1 degree and 32 minutes. Look in your birth chart house. Where is your Taurus located? Is it in the first house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, 12? Which one is your Taurus located? My Taurus is on my 5th house cusp. A cusp in a house is different than a cusp in a zodiac sign. Just FYI. So the energy of my 5th house, how I'll say that, is Taurus, right? So what is the 5th house? So we got to look at all the things in the 5th house so we can see all the possibilities that might happen for us and what's coming towards us in the 5th house, if your Taurus is in the 5th house. So Taurus, 5th house is about children, about military, being active, sports, anything you create, your artwork, anything you create. That's why it's for children, because we create children. Like, we don't technically, but you know, we our children. And if your child is like 40, I say children, but it could be an adult. All right. So anything you want to create, anything that you're creative in, this is going to give you the energy because the sun is there. So the sun is shining bright on your house where your Taurus is at. And again, anything that you create, or well, you created creatively. Wow, Shona. Can't talk today. Okay. So anything that is creative, you will also couple it with how can I make money from it? Okay. So I guess your children, you could try to figure out how you can make money off your children. No, I'm just joking. Just a joke. I know it's too early. It's too early. Okay. So you look at your chart and you look and see what your Taurus is, and that's how you can tell, or you can have some kind of prediction. The better you understand about the energy of your houses, or say that we talking about that one house, you'll have more options to pick from. Remember, astrology is energy, right? And then it's not like psychic. So the prediction, it is a prediction, but it's not like a prediction like, let me read your mind. I feel this about you. And it's not that. It's like, okay, if I know 5 things about my 5th house, I know 5 things about what a 5th house is. Let me look and see which one of those that I'm closely related to or resonate with today. If you do it today, you got to think of it today. So if you have a 1 degree 32 or anything like maybe almost 2 degrees, you're going to feel the effects. That's when Taurus, the sun in Taurus, the sun is going to bright up and give you opportunity and all that for that house. If like I don't have any planets in my 5th house, my 6th house, my 7th house, okay? So I don't have any planets there, but I have my Taurus is the energy of my 5th house. Okay? And then it's about fun too and luxuriating. So you might want to, I don't know, you might be into some kind of jewelry or perfumes or makeup or hair, anything like that. You don't have to be a woman for this. You could be, it's like so many male jewelers and so many male barbers and hairstylists. So it don't have to be gender specific when I say these type of things, but you got to look at Venus, which rules Taurus. Okay. So you got to understand that. And then you put it into a 5th house, which is a creativity house. You know what I mean? All right. And then somebody said first house. So sun is in, if you have Taurus in your first house, you're Taurus rising, of course. And then if you have the sun there, the sun, that's the brightest part of your chart, or of that part of your chart where you're Taurus, because the sun is there. So it's highlighting you. So it's going to be everything that kind of initiates things in you that you want to do. So especially your appearance, because the appearance is the first house. It's going to be something you put a lot of energy into if you have Taurus in your first house. But remember, you got to look at the degree as well, because that's the timing of it. Remember, astrology is about time and space, right? So you got to look at when would this happen? So if you have 5 degrees in Taurus and it's in 1 degree right now, you might have to wait a couple of days, right? A few days, but you could start feeling the energy of it. So again, it's Taurus, about self-made, making money, your possessions. You're gonna look at that more. You can go harder on your goals. Okay, if it's something that you could sell, well, what could you sell about yourself? And then if you have Taurus in your second house, again, if you want to know when you're going to feel the effect of this, look at the degree in your chart so that you can know of your second house, so you can know when it's going to happen for you, right? So, hey, ASS Sparkers. So, Taurus in your second house is really going to be a time that you're going to feel like you want to make some kind of investment, either investment into actual business or investment into yourself, maybe for a business later on. Or you might just feel like, you know what, I have been working really hard, been struggling really hard, been paying bills and only that kind of thing. But now I want to be investing into myself, and do things for yourself. But you're going to not do it really fast. So don't think it's going to happen really, really fast, because Taurus is fixed, for one. And two, it's Earth and it got to build. But out of all the Earth signs, Taurus is the slowest. I shouldn't say slow like that, but slow in any kind of movement, you know? Okay, and then third house, if you have Taurus on your third house cusp, you're going to be want to what? Communicate more. You want to be able to travel to your local areas, beautiful things, like a certain statue in a park, or you want to be by the lake or something close to nature, something that's really close in your neighborhood. Not that you want to take a plane and go on vacation. It's going to be something that is very close to you that, you know, tourists usually go to, but you don't because you live there, type of thing. But you're going to want to be around that, or be around even the tourists, because, you know, the natives, they don't really care about this stuff, but the tourists do. I mean, the tourists do. All right. So also, you might be, you really going to look at your finances really close. Like, I have $8. How can I turn this $8 into $800 or $80 or whatever, right? And you're going to really be thinking about that. The Taurus, the sun in your second house, you're going to be able to have more ideas or more opportunities to look at it, right? And then you have, if you have Taurus on in your fourth house, and guys, remember, the first thing you want to do, since you don't have it memorized, the first thing that you want to do is look at your birth chart and see what house your Taurus is in. And then the second thing you want to do is you want to know how close that is to you. So some people say it's 5 degrees either side. Some people say it's 8 degrees either side. Well, I think that that's for the outer planets, but the closer inner planets, our personal planets, I don't think we could use an orb of 8 degrees, because we'll still be in Aries and we're in Taurus. So no. All right. All right. So like 8 days before Aries is out, that's not close enough to Taurus for it to be that way. Okay. So fourth house, Taurus, in the fourth house, you might start thinking about, oh, I see tulips growing, and I see, oh, the grass is getting greener. And, you know, you might want to beautify that. You might go to the store, like one of these dollar stores, and buy little things for your front yard or backyard or your porch. If you don't live in that kind of area, you're going to want to do that in your house. You might want to beautify your house, clean your house, and beautify it. Now, don't worry if, you know, it's taking a long time to figure out how I'm gonna redecorate or what I'm gonna use, because Taurus is slow, and it's not slow just moseying along like a turtle slow and just doing that. It's also planning and developing and testing things out. So it is doing something. But mostly Tauruses want to luxuriate. They want to chill. They want to have good smelling things around them. That's why they really a good sextile to Pisces. Like Taurus and Pisces really, they'll go in the house and you won't even be able to see, with the fog of the smoke and the incense and the sage and beautiful, sweet tasting food. And see, I wouldn't mind going there, but I don't know. Then I'll be stuck in a Pisces house. I don't know. I want to break free and get out. All right. Anyway, I love my Pisces, so y'all know that. People who be following me know that Shonda loves her Pisces. Okay, so that's the fourth house. And it also might help you to remind you or trigger you to think about your past, like when you were a kid and stuff like that. And if you had Taurus in your 4th house, it's a really good chance that your mom or whoever your caretaker was, they always beautified the home and it always looked nice and always smelled good. And then in the 5th house, like I already told you guys, the 6th house, you have Taurus in the 6th house. You might want to start studying policies. You might want to start in guidelines and how to get a commercial license and how to get a business and stuff like that. You might really start thinking about that. If you are working at a particular job that you're not happy with, this is a really good time to think of how do I want to change my everyday. And your everyday might change. So these things that could happen to us, or we can put the energy out. Then you got Taurus in the 7th house. Well, then the sun is in your 7th house. So that means, I would say the first thing that popped in my mind, I was going to say the second thing that popped in my mind, but I'm going to say the first thing that pops in my mind. When I say pop in my mind, it's not like I'm just pulling this information out my ass. This is knowledge that I have. But some stuff sound harsher. Trying to be nice. Yeah, so I'll say this. The codependency is going to be real. If you had Taurus in your doggone 7th house, well, first you're in the Venus house, so you're going to want harmony in your relationships. I don't care if your personal relationships, your romantic relationships, your collaborations, and all of that. You're going to want harmony. Now, when we say harmony for the 7th house, is it like a kumbaya and you're all sitting by the lake with an acoustic guitar and you want that kind of harmony? No, not necessarily, because remember, it's the sun there, right? So what's going to happen is that you're going to feel these triggers to be able to cause harmony or create harmony in your relationships, right? So even if you got to take somebody and snatch them by their weave and throw them on the ground, or you got to punch this dude in the face and pull him by the beard, because that's the only way you're going to get harmony after that. Why do we do that? Like us as kids, like we do all this crazy shit in the house that our mothers or caretakers don't want us to do. And then we get in trouble, like really big trouble. And then we're like the perfect kid after that. Like why do we have to get beat and punished and talked about and for us to act right? But anyway, that's what the 7th house is about. It's codependency in your relationships, but you got to be careful, because it could be violent. Could it be violent? Yeah. If you feel that violence, the only way for me to talk to you, for us to get along, I got to smack the shit out of you type of thing, right? It's not true. It's just other options. Taurus, if you had Taurus in your 8th house, okay. You really got to watch out for your, usually if you have Taurus in your 8th house, you're not going to really share or try to obtain resources from anybody else but yourself. But sometimes, we're human. You might want to do that. You might want to go into business with someone. And I know you think it's the 7th house when I say partners, but no, you might want to go into business. You might want to join a joint venture group. You might want to invest and see how it is. But you got to think about it right now, because you'll have that energy and a vigor to go into it because it's the sun. But at the same time, utilize your energy to think about, let me read the fine print. Maybe I need to get an attorney, stuff like that. Because what could end up happening is that you get into this joint investment with someone or a group, and something happens, something goes wrong, and it will be very difficult to get out of it. Meaning legally, you might lose money and stuff like that. So you gotta be careful. So, and then we could talk about sexuality and all that kind of stuff, but I'm so sick and damn tired of people talking about Scorpios with sex. Like, everybody has sex, right? Like, it's not just Scorpios who have sex. Like, what? Scorpios just have sex with each other? So Scorpio sex? It's too early to be talking about this stuff. I'm just saying, as a Scorpio, I'm so sick of that damn interpretation. So I try to stay away from saying sexual stuff. All right. when it comes to talking about Scorpio or the 8th house. All right, in the 9th house, if you have Taurus in the 9th house, you're going to probably feel like talking to people you haven't talked to a while, especially the people who are not really close to you, who's long distance. And be careful of wanting to be in a long distance relationship, because if you have Sun in the 9th house and your Taurus is there, what's going to happen is that you might really consider having a long distance or internet thing. Just be aware of getting catfish. Like, yo, technology is so good today. It's like real time, like we're doing right now. This is a YouTube video, but they have Messenger, they have FaceTime, they have stuff that you could be on the video. Ain't no pictures. Don't be sending me no pictures. I want an address that I can send you something, and you actually get it, and you open it on FaceTime or the Messenger Live so I can see it. Oh, I got a whole bunch of ways to do that. But anyway, so you might really want to talk to an older person, or missing your grandma and how she smelled and how she had her hair and stuff like that. You might think about that. 10th house, if you had Taurus, the sun is in Taurus right now, and you have Taurus in your 10th house. You're really going to be I'm just going to say, you're going to really go hard with want to make money for yourself. Like, that's going to be top of mind, that you're going to want to make money. And what can happen is, too, that the superiors, any kind of bosses or superiors, you might, it's not that is opposing, it's more like your ideas on how to make money and how to work towards your goals of success is quite different. And so then you're superior, so you're not going to try to hit them. You know, you'll hear them, but you still want to do it your way. So I'll say, if you got Taurus in the 10th, Sun is going, just go for it. I mean, don't disrespect anybody or disrespect their ideas or whatever, like your superiors or whatever, but you definitely go for yours. Sun, you got the Sun is in Taurus now, and you have Taurus on your 11th house cusp. If you have Taurus on your 11th house, you're going to want to be around people who are doing things that you're doing, even if you don't know them. Like, okay, so like, say you want to go to a spa and you don't know anyone to go with you, but everybody who's at the spa are like-minded. They all wanted to go to the spa. So you want to be around that kind of energy, you know? Or you might want to, like I said, go to a park, outside in the park, and chill. Even if you go by yourself and bring a book or your phone or whatever, you just want to be amongst those people. Now, of course, you want to be around your own people and enjoy your own crowd. But if you can't do that, that's another thing you want to do. And then you also might be thinking about, like, how have I been successful? Like, what do I really, really want to do with this or that? Okay? You'll think more like that. And then you have the Sun in the 12th house, your Taurus. If you have your Taurus in your 12th house, the Sun is in your 12th house. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is to watch out with the relationships with your father or your brother or your uncles, or like a male family member, or a male, or your stepdad, or any male member, family member, or a person you know, any one of those who have some kind of authority over you. If they have a tendency to get high or drunk or abuse any kind of drugs or pills or anything like that, don't embark with them. Don't be their drinking buddy, you know. Don't be their get high partner, because it's not a good placement for you to do that. The men or women who want to have these secret love affairs with a really nice looking person, or a person who's well put together, you're going to have more drive or desire to do that. Be aware of that. You know, you got to understand, like, these planets that hit our birth charts, these transits and planets, it's for a short time, other than the outer planets. But this is a short time. So don't take the ball and run with it and say, hey, I'm going to use this Sun in Taurus to look at the house that my Taurus is in, and I'm going to just go for this and do this forever. It's just a little boost. It's a boost. Boost. All right, so those are the 12 houses. Shona, hey, Shine and Bright. I don't know if you still on here, but hi, Coach Michael. Hi, everybody who came on. Laval. I have Taurus in my 4th, 3 degrees, and my 5th at 27 degrees. So you have Taurus in your 4th and your 5th. That means that you have an intercepted chart if you use Placidus. If you use different house systems, you're going to see exactly what houses your Taurus is in. But if you use Placidus with the tropical astrology, you have an intercepted chart. So if you have 2 Tauruses, on the other side of that, you have 2 Scorpios as well. So you could utilize and get a birth chart in your Placidus, or you can get a birth chart for the whole signs or equal signs or whole houses or something like that. And this way, you can know exactly where it is if you don't feel like doing it that way. Ratchet Boo, hey. Oh, you're welcome. Bye, Shona. Shona I had a lot of communication on here. Cranberry juice. Mine is in the 5th. No babies, though. Well, if you don't have any babies, like I said, study the houses, guys. When I say that, study the houses, meaning how many for each house, especially if you're really into this, like how many interpretations or how many meanings or definitions is in the 1st house, how many in the 2nd, all the way to the 12th house. If you do that, then when a planet and a sign hit your birth chart, you'll understand what it is, and then you'll have choices. So it's not going to always, hey Sharice, it's not going to always resonate if you only have a few ideas about that house, or not a few ideas, but a few interpretations. You can have 10, 15, you can have so many interpretations of a house, and you find out which one resonate with you. It's not like a guessing game. It's more like you want to kind of get that feeling that matches you the most type of thing, okay? And that's it. I know I go on YouTube sporadically. I want to try to go on YouTube more. My schedule was like really crazy, and I didn't want to make it worse. Shonda, what is your moon, ascendant, Venus, and Mars? Mine in particular, or the meaning? Because I was, for a very long time, going to do a video called The Big Three. But because I don't interpret that way, I didn't want to do it that way. And I'll be perpetuating this commercialized horoscope zodiac world that we're in. Like, I'm going to be the person that's really, seriously, I'm going to be one of the main people when astrology really hits stronger and people really trying to figure out, how can this benefit my life? How can astrology benefit my life? Or how can I benefit from astrology? It's going to be somebody like me who studies and have knowledge, and y'all just going to want to know real shit. Y'all not going to want to care about all that other stuff, like what's coming in my love life, what's coming in. You're going to be able to understand it because you're going to know all of the where to go to look and see what's going on in your love life. So if you see a horoscope, or if you use an astrology app and it says something like, now's the time for love, you and your mate can walk down the beach together, and you're single. They say, or if you're single, you might possibly meet this person. And if you meet this person around this time, this is going to happen, which is true, because it's about timing. So if I did meet somebody today, would I want to be with them? Not today, but between today and Sunday, because that's when the sun is opposed to my sun. So if the sun opposes my sun, and I meet a male energy, masculine guy, because it's the sun, then I'm not going to really like his ways, and he's not going to like mine, and it's going to be hard for us to, you know, come together. So why do I know that? Because I know it's 3 entities that you got to make so that you can make a goody interpretation. So you need the planet, you need the zodiac sign, and you need the house. So learn as much as you can about your birth chart so that you can do your own predictions or your own possible outcomes. I don't know. I just don't want y'all to think that astrology is about predictions. So yeah. So you said yours, duh. Okay. Are the deacon the house lords? I think you talking about DECAN. If you are, because you know a decan is a 10. It's a period of 10, like decade and you know all that, right? It's a period of 10, right? Or a cycle of 10. So if you're talking about no, a decan is not the same as a house lord. And a lot of times in Western astrology, they don't even use house lords. They get them from Eastern. But I like using house lords because it can basically give you a quicker answer. Some people even use Greek mythology to understand astrology. You can, but then you get stuck. And then you got to really effing study for real. People short changing and stuff and looking for corners and cheat sheets and cheat codes to understand astrology. All right, you could do that. Just like you can use those apps, those astrology apps. Then you're gonna get stuck and you're like, man, let me study this, or man, I don't understand this. All right, so a decan, if a zodiac sign time that is last is 30 degrees, then you break the chart. I mean, you break those degrees up until 10. So 30 divided by 10 is 3, or 3 times 10 is 30. So like the first 10 degrees of whatever sign or house or cusp or whatever is the first decan. The second 10 degrees is the second decan. The third 10 is the final or the third decan. The easiest way to understand it is look at your zodiac sign and your element. So mine is Scorpio. So the first thing I got to do, Scorpio. And then I got to do the I say trines, but the element. So it's Pisces and Cancer, the water, right? And then same thing with earth, same thing with fire, same thing with air. You got to stay in your element. So what's going to happen is it's the first 10 days will be your first sign. Your second 10 days, I'm sorry, I'm saying days like the sun. Your first 10 degrees will be your sign. The second 10 degrees will be your next sign after your sign in your element. And then the final one will be the third sign after the second. So that's how it goes. I'm going to tell you a really easy way. So I'm a Scorpio. So my degrees is 3 degrees in like 17 minutes, 3 degrees, 18 minutes. All right, so that means the first 10 degrees of Scorpio is Scorpio. So I'm a double Scorpio. It's really a Scorpio, truly a Scorpio. So then the second sign in my element, my water element, is Pisces. So then the second set of degrees, the second set of 10 degrees, I will be a Scorpio Pisces, right? And then the final 10 degrees in my element, water, after Pisces, is Cancer. So I will be a Scorpio Cancer. Now, let me just say this. Thank God of all of the gods that ever exist, the fake gods, the demigods, us thinking we're God doesn't exist, whatever kind of God. Thank all of that I am a damn first decan Scorpio. No way in the world would I want to be a Scorpio Pisces or Scorpio Cancer. Anyway, just wanted to say that little sarcastic remark. So that's what a decan means. So you have the energy of both. Because like they say, oh, Scorpios born in this month or this sign born in that month is different from the other sign. Yeah, it is. That's when it shifts over and changes and you can see the differences. All right. And then I was going to say one more thing. Oh, the big 3 thing. Oh, no, the house lords. So the house lords basically is who or the house rulers, house lords, house rulers, the same thing. It's like, what planet rules that house, right? So that's when you go through each planet and match them to the houses. So the first house is Mars, second house is Venus. Oh, and remember, it's 10 planets and 12 houses. So a lot of, in the early astrology, a lot of the zodiac signs had a couple up to go to a planet. And of course, Scorpio is with these damn crazy ass Aries. Like, I actually share the planet Mars with Aries. Anyway, so Mars is the planet lord of Aries, or the house ruler of Aries in the first house, right? And then Pluto, though, since it's later, is the Scorpio one, the eighth house, right? So the Pluto is the lord of the eighth house. And then, or the ruler of the eighth house. And then, so Scorpio and Aries share Mars, Venus, and Taurus and Libra share Venus, Gemini and Virgo share Mercury. The moon by itself, I don't share with anybody. The sun, which is the fifth house, Leo, by itself, don't share with anybody. And then Jupiter is Pisces and Sagittarius, but then later they found for Pisces to be more Neptunian. So the 12th house is ruled by Neptune, but originally it's Jupiter, so do not forget about that. Just like you should not forget about that the Mars, the Scorpio's in there too. So that's why they say we're intense or whatever. Yeah. And then Capricorn and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So the 11th, 10th and 11th house is Saturn. It's the house lord or the house ruler. And then later on, for Aquarius, for the 11th house, they said, you know what? Uranus is a better suit, is a better fit for the 11th house. So the 11th house is ruled by Uranus. But don't, okay, sorry. Don't forget about Aquarius is ruled originally from Saturn, too. Okay? So a few of them split off, right? So Scorpio split off from Mars and is more Plutonian. Aquarius split off from Saturn and is more Uranian. And then Pisces split off from Jupiter and is more Neptunian. Okay? Now, if you really want to study astrology language, then you can okay. As a person who studied astrology language, okay, as now that I know it, I don't really see a strong effect. Like, so I won't rush to tell you guys, hey, learn astrology language, learn astrology language. The only way that I would tell, the only reason I'll tell people who's trying to really learn astrology and need to know what the planets and this moon and this and that and all that, or this house and all that and big three and all that, is just so that you can learn how to interpret. Once you learn how to interpret, that's when all this stuff about debunking astrology happens, because they say it's pseudoscience and how can a planet affect you and all this kind of stuff, right? Me, myself, and I don't get into that because it's a waste of time to get into that. As long as I can interpret based on what I've learned about the vocabulary, that's it. But if you want to learn about the vocabulary, go ahead and learn about the vocabulary. And if you want to know how you could prove astrology is real and all that kind of stuff, go for it. I would not waste my time on going further than that. Just understand what it means. And once you understand what it means, go for it. If you want to go further and see how they connect, go for that too. When I say further, I'm talking about pointing up to the sky. Further. That way. All right. So, understand that there's 10 planets. Understand that we're not just one part of ourselves, which is the sun sign, or just a moon sign. And to answer that person's question about the big three, or yeah, I'll just say that. I don't particularly like that three combination that they use, the sun, the moon, and your rising. Because first of all, it excludes people. Now, I'm a person who feels that everybody's voice should be heard, whether they are not confident in it, or they don't think they know what they're talking about, or they're nervous, or you're not a good public speaker. I think everybody in the group, everybody individually should be heard and should practice their public speaking skills. Well, why? Because Mercury, communication, transportation, is in my 10th house, which is a public house, and it's about communication, public speaking, but also is in Libra. So I don't like anybody to ever be publicly embarrassed or teased in front of a crowd, because I'm jumping in that. I'm going to take my Mars energy from my Scorpio, and then I'm going to take my Capricorn moon energy like, yo, no. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to bully nobody publicly and stuff like that. So anyway, so I don't like the rising as the big three, because what if you don't know your time of birth? If you do not know your time of birth, you're not going to know your houses, and you're not going to know your rising sign. So a lot of apps, astrology apps that you guys use, well, I don't know. I hate astrology apps. They might say something different, but like, you could be an astrology app. You don't need an astrology app to, only for calculations. I use apps for calculations, because who want to do like degrees and this and geometry, and who want to do that kind of math when you got like computers that could do it for you? I mean, apps that could do it for you. Okay, what do you say? So do you have classes on astrology? Yeah, I do. Hey, Mike Monopoly. Oh, guys, I haven't even been on Dolo. That's my little bro, man. Who been watching Dolo? Like, what is he doing now? Like, I haven't really been doing... If you guys don't see me on YouTube, that means I haven't really been watching YouTube. But the closest person on YouTube that I could say that we kind of agree with most stuff is Dolo. Dolo the pilot. Dolo the pilot, man. I hate saying the. Why can't Dolo use grammar and say Dolo the or the pilot, man? Just joking. Just joking. All right. Yeah, classes. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't even know how I want to do that, but I want to do it. Hey, happy Taurus season to you too. Hey, Veronique. Okay, so the big three. Sun, moon, and rising. Like I said, I don't like it because, but if you don't know your rising, that excludes people. We shouldn't exclude anyone. You know, nobody should be left behind. Just because we know our time and birth and we can get our ascendant and stuff like that, that don't mean that we should be like, oh, well. No, we're not leaving nobody behind. So I'd rather use these three combinations as the big three. And you don't need your time of birth because, you know, the horizon is very quick. You know, the horizon when the sun rises, well, you know, when the earth tilts and it looks like the sun is rising. That line, that time is really, really quick. But your moon and your sun and all the other planets, they're not as quick. So you could get a better idea. So that's not going to exclude anyone. Oh, I know, Mike. I should just go back to YouTube, period. Trust me, if I'm not on my channel, I'm not going to be on nobody else's channel. So, and then I always tease him and make him laugh, and he always messes with Scorpios. Like, he's an Aries, I'm a Scorpio, so we come from the same place. That's why I say he's my little brother. Okay, so Sun, Moon, and Mercury. Those should be the big three. Sun, Moon, and Mercury, not Sun, Moon, and Rising. Again, the Rising will cut a lot of people out. Especially people who don't have birth certificates. They're adopted or they were in foster care or something. or their state don't put their time on their birth certificate. You know, we don't want to exclude anybody because astrology, you know, is ruled by the 11th house, and is ruled by Aquarius. And Aquarius people don't leave anybody out. Like, if y'all notice, it's, you know, y'all don't leave people out, and it's like-minded individuals, and it's futuristic, and it's all those things about Aquarius and 11th house energy, and Uranus energy as well. So what is your Mercury? What is your Sun? And what is your Moon? So we're saying who you are, your core, who you are holistically, and your drive and your vigor, and what makes you you. That's your 10th sign, your sun sign. So we can all know what our sun signs are. So no exclusion, no exclusion. And then your moon is your, based on your Mercury, your emotional side, and how you express your emotions. And we could easily get our moon signs. We don't need our time of birth for that. And then your Mercury is how you communicate and think. Like your thought process. Like I said, I don't like people being excluded. I don't like people feeling left out. I don't like people bullying people or anything like that. So that's Libra energy, right? And my Mercury is in Libra. So the way I think is, I don't think people should be bullied. I don't think people should be embarrassed in public. I don't think people should be included. That's Libra energy, right? So that makes a person more who they are as a snapshot, more than the sun, moon, and rising. And then you got 3 planets. Well, the rising not a planet, it's a calculation. But let's just say you got three things. You're forgetting 7 to 8 other planets that make you you. So that's another reason why I don't like the big 3. Why we can't have the big 10 to include all 10 planets? Because even if we include all 10 planets and you know yourself by all of your 10 planets, you still got asteroids. So you got to know all the asteroids and how they're affecting you, right? You still have retrogrades, and it's so many different things. Like, astrology is a lifetime study, but you could use it for your everyday too. You won't know your midhaven if you don't know your time. You won't know any of your house placements if you don't know your time of birth. So none of the houses or your rising. Houses, rising, you will not know if you don't have your time. But you still can know and learn a lot about yourself without the time, especially if you use the lunar nodes. Lunar. I'm not spelling it because I don't think y'all can spell. It's just my accent. I just want to make it clear. I'm saying lunar. I call it lunar. Nodes. Your north and south node. You don't need your time birth for that. All right. Would it be better? Yes. But you don't need it. Okay. And then the last thing I was going to say about that, I forgot. Guess it's not really that important about that. But don't worry about not knowing your rising. Your rising is kind of fake anyway. It's a mask that you wear to the public. You're telling people who you are, and we change who we are quite often. So sometimes you won't even feel like your rising sign. I don't know. I mean, I like the rising sign because it will give me a descendant sign. So like ASC, that's your rising. MC, like that person said, that's your midhaven. IC is below, is in the 4th house. Is how do you say that? Emuli coli or whatever the hell that means. So it's the bottom, it's the opposite of the 10th house. So it's the opposite of the public self. Private self is the IC, and the descendant, so they could tell you what kind of relationship. Who would your bestest friend, your BFF forever, who would that be? You know, you'll look at your 7th house or your DCS or DS if you see it that way. Or you look at your descendant sign, because that is who you could be married to. That is who you could be a good friend with. That is who you can collaborate with. But it's also open enemies. So could your mate be an open enemy or competition or anything that's this push-pull thing? Yep. So if you're Aries rising, you got Libra in your 7th house, then the Libras would be the people you struggle with. You want to be around that energy, but you will also struggle with them at times. You could love them and hate them at the same time. That's why some people say, "Oh no, I don't want to be with this person ever again," because it's probably in your 7th house. You could work it out. It's a relationship house, so you could always work that relationship out. Chiron. Chiron is energy like this. Do you know how when you can give a person advice or people advice in a particular area? You could tell them in and out and up and down and motivate them and whatever. You got the answers for them. But for yourself, you can't do it. You can't do it. Like, how can I answer all these questions and know all about this for these people or this person, and I always help them, but I can't help myself? Well, the person's Chiron, if it's in your sign, they can help you. You can't help yourself because it's a wounded healer. So we're wounded, meaning we can't help ourselves, but we can heal other people. So that's what it is. So whatever your Chiron sign is in the house, if you have your time of birth, but even if you don't have your time of birth for your houses, whatever your zodiac sign is in Chiron, in that particular area, you can help people and get them advice like crazy. Then you're like, damn, well, I can't do that for myself. But you're like really gung-ho about it. Hey, Tsunami. And hey, Scotty. Is the sun debilitated in the 7th house? Okay. She's used in astrology vocabulary. All right. So look, this is an easy way to find it out. All right. Look at the house lords or the planet rulers. They're at home. And then you look at the opposite and, you know, they're debilitated. All right. So it's like a little square, little Excel kind of grid line that tells you that was, you know, I say accelerated and what gives you a lot of energy, and what's opposite from that, and where you're at home, and you could just look at that grid, because it's so many. That is this video not about that, and you could just look at that. But if you're Aries rising, then all of your house lords are in the right spot it's supposed to be. So you don't have to worry about it that way because all the planets will be in their home. And if the sun is debilitated in the 7th house, so what? You have a free will. You have a choice to fix it. You don't have to, your birth chart don't have to be an end all and be all. Like I said, I'm born with a damn moon square Mercury, but I'm changing it and have changed it and been working on changing it to a sextile, to a moon sextile Mercury. Like, what the hell those people do? What energy do they do? Let me see if I could do it. Now, at first, it don't feel comfortable to me because I have a square. So the way how my emotions feel based on my communications, or I get really mad when it's traffic for no damn reason. Why are we slowing down? Why we just can't keep driving? Type thing, right? I feel some kind of way about it. Feel and thoughts. Your feelings and your thoughts should be in harmony. Like a trine. A moon trine, Mercury. I can't stand y'all. Because y'all nice and sweet, and y'all give people the respect and let them talk and just easy going. And people like to talk to you, and because you listen to them, you don't cut them off. Stuff I do. I just feel like I don't want to have to kiss nobody's ass. But the reason why I feel like by being nice and letting people talk and listening to them is kissing ass is because I was born with a square. Gotta learn from that. That's my lesson. If your Chiron is in Gemini Is no way on God's green earth would you ever, like, take it. All right, let me give you an interpretation. So say, for example, I was the kind of person, and you know, me and you friends, me and you cool, and I'm on mute all the time. Like, I don't speak, I don't express myself. You know, I think that I'm flighty or petty, or, you know, I talk about petty things or whatever, and then I'm stressed out about that. You will be upset about that. You will not let me be that way. You will want me to talk. You will want me to communicate. You will want me to use the airwaves. You will want me to do that in any kind of way to break me out of that. But you can't do it on your own. See, it's messed up, right? It's a wounded healer. How could you be wounded, but you still heal others at the same time? That's Chiron. Chiron, not the guy on the block. Not the plug. Chiron is not the plug. But Chiron is that. So if you have a Chiron in Gemini, you're not gonna want people to feel bad. Or if you know, so if I'm not your friend and I don't, you know, you don't help me individually, if you know that a person is not speaking up and not communicating clearly or something like that, or scared to drive because it's other cars coming, yeah, other cars gonna come on the street with you. But if they're like that, they don't want to license and drive, they don't want that independence and stuff like that, you will, you know, you would talk to them and you will just say, look, I'm sorry, I got to say this to you, and da 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 da, because you had to answer for them. They don't have to answer for themselves, but you do. So that's your Chiron. Your Chiron is, unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, because it was a wounded healer, it's going to be a thing where you can't never, you can help yourself, but it won't stick as strong as it would with another person that you're helping. Okay, so that's what basically what that is. Oh, Sophia, hey, you do. That's why Pisces are bugged out. Oh yeah, they won't. Wait, that's why Pisces are bugged out. They don't communicate right with me. Well, no, it's not that. It's nothing that they are doing. Or unless you're saying, okay, so we wanted to say who rules Chiron, like what planet rules Chiron, it'll be Pisces. Just like the Lilith, who rules Lilith, that's Scorpio. You know, like it's strong Scorpio. Juno is like Scorpio and Virgo. You could do it that way too. But that's getting deeper into it, man. All right, so it's not when you help, if it's some, whatever your Chiron is in, it's not that you are, you can't communicate with that person, because you can. You're that person's savior in whatever area that they struggling with. So anybody that has strong Gemini energy, you're going to be able to help them. You're going to see their problem and have an answer and a solution for it very quickly and way easier than they can. But in your own life, you won't be able to. And I guess that's where you got the thing from, well, that's why I don't communicate with Pisces well. Well, I know that you want to include other people to try to make a better interpretation, but we have so many actual interpretations of actual things that we don't have to borrow from other things. It's like when people put their planets with their nodes. Like the only planet that I would say is that I would ever put with a north node or a south node is the sun. It's the sun. I would not be mixing all that other stuff together, because it's really not, you're not going to really feel anything from that. So I'm an Aries north node. So and it's like, I think 9 degrees and 39 minutes, something like that. So that means on a 9th or 10th day of Aries, my north node, the sun conjuncted with my north node. So what does that mean when the sun conjunct your north node? If you're a Taurus, the sun is going to conjunct your north node too, right? So, Taurus north node. If you're Scorpio south node, Taurus north node, and you're a Taurus, when the sun hit the degree of your north node, or you'll start feeling the energy. That's when you're going to be more into your your life plan. So when Taurus hits your North Node, if you are a Taurus North Node, but or your South Node. So mine is Libra South Node. So when the Sun is in Libra, it'll make me do more Libra-like stuff or energy that I shouldn't do. It'll keep me more in my comfort zone. So that's why when this year, when Aries conjuncted my North Node, or when the Sun conjuncted my North Node, I was like, man, I'm gonna go hard and really focus on the stuff I need to do in my North Node, because that's the hardest shit to do, right? So I said, I'm really gonna do that because the force is with me, type of thing. The energy is with me. All right. So yeah. So the Chiron, I had Chiron in Pisces, and then you gotta look at where your house that your Chiron is in, because that's where you're going to be debilitated in. You're going to be not as strong in. So I have a Chiron and Pisces in my third house. What does that mean? Like the number one thing it can mean many things, but the one that resonates with me in particular the most is that I don't feel as confident as I should when I'm trying to explain a thing or show somebody a thing or teach somebody a thing. And it's in my third house, so it's communication, it's it's my thought process. So that's where my wound is at. So what I do, now it works perfectly or more effectively on YouTube than it does in real life. Yep. So I'm teaching, I'm explaining, so I could give you a whole bunch of different possibilities where sometimes I get accused of going all over the place. Well, this part of the video, yeah, I am going all over the place, but the first part of the video, I had everything written down. But anyway, so in my communication, I'm worried or nervous or paranoid. Like, do they understand what I'm saying? Is it clear? So what I do is I repeat it again in another way. And I want to be so sure, because that's where my wound is at. Right? So, but other people, especially Pisces, I always tell them, like, the goddamn shoe, the other shoe is not going to drop. So stop. Stop worrying about it. If you're getting success in your life, you deserve it and you worked for it, Pisces. And I need you to speak up. And I need you to talk your shit. Because when you do, you sound really, really good. But don't start getting into it and getting into it. And then you stop because you get nervous. Keep going, Pisces. See, I could naturally do that, but tell my damn self to do that? Nah, it's more of a struggle. All right, so my phone, and I have an iPhone now, so I'm just learning about these damn iPhones. I'm such an Android person. Twice it said that is low at 10%. So I don't know. So your Chiron's in Taurus. So I'm gonna say goodbye just as a courtesy in case it stops and dies. And you just see a circle going around me. That means my phone died. But I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just going to keep talking to her until I'm done. Chiron and Taurus, you can show people how to be independent and to value themselves and to have self-esteem. Israel, I don't even feel like trying to, how to say your first name. Yeah, so if I'm all down on myself and have low self-esteem, like, I'm so tall, like, most people not 5'9" like I am. And I wish I was shorter. Can I get like a plastic surgery on my legs and chop my skeleton and get shorter or something? I don't know. Or anything I'm down on myself or I don't have a lot of self-confidence. I don't have a lot of self-worth. If you got Chiron and Taurus, there's no way you're going to be able to like let me sit here and down myself. And if I need to know how to make money, but I don't know how to make money, you can see in me ways how I can make money. But you try to do that for yourself, ain't gonna work. It's gonna be a struggle because you're wounded. So you got to get somebody else to help you. But they will. You know people that help you and can get exactly what you're saying. Those are the people that you need to stick around because they're helping you. And people that share the same zodiac sign of your North Node. Those people you got to really listen to. You might not be able to stand them, but you got to listen to them. They're going to help you reach your North Node goals. I think I answered all the questions, said all I had to say. I love the last live. You taught us how to figure out when we were getting squares and transits. Yep. Right now, the Aquarius and Leos, is the sun is squaring you. Oh my God, my poor Leos. Yo, Leos, like, just be humble right now, yo. Humble yourself to authority. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because that's I'm telling a damn Leo to humble himself or herself to authority. Like, that's really gonna happen. But that's what you should do. That's what you should do. You should humble yourself to authority. Learn a lesson on why you can't humble yourself to authority so that you can work on that for next year. And when the sun opposes your sun, when the damn cold hard winter of Aquarius happens, that's not our time. I'm sorry, that's not the Leo's time of year. Okay? So your squares, if you are a Taurus or Leo and Aquarius, and your opposite is Scorpio. But Taurus, it's time for you to shine because the sun is in your sign. It's all right. 6 more months. That's okay. Scorpio season gonna come. I just gotta wait and work stuff out for 6 more months. And look at why I question authority or how can I work within authority. Because whatever I did from October 26, 2022, all the way up into what? April 24th, because that's when the actual sun is going to oppose my sun per my degree. This is it's gonna show me where I'm at. Now I could stop if there's any madness or any problem. I could stop it. But if the sun opposes my sun, I'm not gonna want to stop it. I'm like, man, F y'all then. I'm good. You know, stuff like that. But the sun, after the sun opposes my sun, then the sun will try my moon. It's like, okay, we're gonna kick your ass and beat you up, but then we're gonna, after we're gonna like pat you up because the sun is gonna try your moon and I'll make you feel better. All right. Oh, thank you, Wretched Boo. Shonda, what are your thoughts of Mars conjunct Venus in Aries? If you are Mars, if you have a Mars and Venus in Aries in the 8th house, yes, that's a conjunction, right? Well, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that other part. So yeah, so wait, what is this sign in Aries? So last month, so you must have had some goddamn relationship problems where your sexuality was really, really strong and you wanted to try new things. Maybe you wanted to have sex hanging from a chandelier last month, for real. But your mate, she wasn't or he wasn't with that. Usually, it's the Mars is the outgoing, is the yang, so it's that masculine energy. So if you are a female and that happened last month, you might want to be the one to try new sexual experiences. I don't know, maybe smacking him in his face or something. Say, come here, especially when they reach your degree. In the 8th house. And so it's gonna be more if it's a relationship, it'll be more of that. But you can have sex partners and you don't have to have relationships. You just gotta have a friend with benefits, especially. But yo, if you got a friend with benefits, make sure that you're their friend with benefits too. You just don't be their friend with benefits because people catch feelings and you have it in the 8th house, so be careful. Be careful. And remember, guys, the 8th house is a manifestation or outcome of the 7th house. All right. All right. So that looks like it is it. Thank y'all. And I'm always going to be talking about astrology. I always study just for myself. And then I can teach you guys. And I know I don't use astrology vocabulary. Doesn't mean that I don't know it. See, iPhone. I thought I turned the red little ringer off on the side. That's silence it, but I guess it don't. Hey y'all, like, if y'all feeling this video, thanks for liking it, but also write in the comments. And also try to stay as long as you can because I think the algorithm now is going off of watch time, like how long. And if you want me to talk about things and different topics in astrology, write them in the comments. And if it's worth it, then I'll do a video about it. No, just everything is worth it to me in astrology, other than these different dimensions and dreams. I'll leave that to the Pisces and people into that, like Dolo. I'll leave it to him. He could talk in like 80 dimensions. If that works for him and it works for you guys, go for it. Me, I like doing astrology for everyday life, right? Yeah, I like doing that. Hey, music. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, you're late. I don't want to leave, but I gotta go right now. I miss y'all. I miss y'all so much, especially my old head subscribers. I miss y'all so group. I'm going to try to go on more now that my schedule has changed.